60 seconds, one story. Let's do a bit of a recap. So I'll recap what I've seen the last few weeks and what we look at going forward. It'll be a bit longer than 60 seconds, but it's more of an amalgam and an overview. So we have Trump coming in like literally a couple of days, and he'll actually take over and be inaugurated. Um, and it's going to be very interesting. You've already seen the power of the US presidency when wielded correctly. What I mean correctly is that peace through strength is a very old way of of diplomacy with the US. The kind of Theodore Roosevelt style, big stick, soft voice, and Trump, ended that conflict with by saying, if you guys don't release those hostages, there's going to be hell to pay, and that man can order every special forces in there, fully supported with air and everything they need to really kick butt. And those guys want to do that kind of job, even though it's going to be bloody and high casualty count. But those guys are trained for it, and you know what? They would have Australian SAS in there, they'd have the British SAS in there, and those three operate very closely together. And you don't want to be look, if you're space nuts, yeah, okay, you can handle that. You can handle them. You're just the same. But apart from those groups and a few others out there like that, Hamas is not trained to that level. So they would have wiped them clean from there. We've had a lot of casualties, but it's very clear that Trump was going to do that. So that's what stopped that war. So if you use that power of the military of the US to stop a war, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. And note, all the protests don't stop anything. It's got to be coming from the politics. So then you're going to look at Russia and the US. Now, I don't think a great deal's going to change because I think the US administration, the deep state, understand that this was a bad move and they wrecked it. So I think they're going to move on to whatever's next. But here's the thing, the war's over, but the peace has got to be negotiated. And for those that are a bit new to this stuff, the biggest thing here is the US will not take a deal that makes them look bad. Russia knows that, but Russia won't take a deal that doesn't involve addressing their security concerns because they don't want to go through this crap again. So they have to come up with a deal. And remember, NATO, blah, blah, it's all nonsense. Oh, NATO, that's just a way for the Americans not to look like their empire building, So they can go home and say, we're the good guys because we're NATO, right? But if you're European, you understand that, this is nonsensical. There's no real NATO. It's America. But anyway, so America and Russia. Now, how are they going to do a deal? I don't know, because there's a lot of stumbling blocks. But remember, there's a big difference between them trying to negotiate a deal or just sort of holding for a while and actively trying to kill each other in that theater. So I would love to see the advances at the Russians stop. The Ukrainians don't be putting any 18-year-olds in the field and just stop and just let the professional diplomats come in and come up with an arrangement and a deal that makes them both able to go, we won. That's how it has to work because the Americans cannot look like they didn't win. And I'm not saying that is funny or being a dumb idiot, right? Literally, they can't go back to their people and say, "Oh, Russia licked us for this one. We'll get them on the next one." It's just not acceptable. So, and Russians understand that. Lavrov, best diplomat in the world, probably the best of all times, but I don't know enough about older ones. They understand that. So hopefully they come up with a deal. So we got to particularly watch the mappers and see over the next few weeks whether the conflict slows down or whether it ramps up. That's going to be the big indicator on the ground. The rhetoric won't mean much because you can't trust anything that comes out of Trump's mouth and you can't trust anything that comes out of Putin's mouth because they're negotiating. So they're not really, anything they say is going to be more about the negotiation, playing games with each other's heads, or whatever the hell they're doing. So that's the other thing. Now, also moving forward with China, I've got to say, a close person in my life, we would always discuss this stuff, and they're always a little concerned with China. A lot of Aussies are really concerned with China. I think a lot of that's propaganda. But I did say at the start of the conflict, I'm going to watch them very closely because I want to see for myself who are they as a people under this kind of pressure. Are they the people that are going to lean on their military and start to really push around? Are we going to see multiple ships again in Australia's shores? What's going to happen? So so far they have been true to form where they're peaceful. They want peace. They haven't overdone it. You know, notwithstanding what people might think, they haven't overdone it, and that's a good thing. Also, I'll also keep an eye on the AI side of things. I do that as a in a business myself in the business world. I'm into AI. Have a look into that space because it's so rapidly developing that, and on all these countries are rapidly developing that by the end of this year, I think we're going to be tripping out with what's there. I use some of the latest stuff, and it's really a special time for people. And I want to sort of finish on this note. If anyone's got to this point, if you're young, learn it inside out. There's a lot of work to be done there. There's a lot of work to be done, and it's the sort of work and advancement that requires, after producing the best possible AI, to also have people that are intelligent in the field that you want to apply it and come up with excellent new ways to incorporate that with business processes. So you see it with the military. It's already incorporated in the military and security, but there's all sorts of areas. So that's another one to really look out for. And I'm very positive about that. And I think that's going to play into all of this because that country that's obsessed with war, which is US, at the moment, they're falling behind in every other area. So they've really got to be careful. They're going to fall behind if they don't stop it soon.